buonasera live from Hollywood, no, live from Capri Hollywood Virtual. Buonasera ad Antonella Salvucci.
Buonasera, buonasera Pascal, buonasera a tutti. Beh, io sono incredula da tutte queste emozioni, sto vivendo davvero l'atmosfera di Capri, da questa sigla già ben fatta, ma poi a pensare che andremo ad incontrare quelli che sono i pilastri del cinema e della musica mondiale.
Infatti, stasera veramente un programma ricchissimo, pieno di ospiti. Come lo è stato anche oggi, perché abbiamo appena finito di parlare con i fratelli Fabio e Damiano di Innocenzo insieme ad Andrea Purgatori, e poco prima avevamo incontrato Alessandro Salem di Medusa e Paolo Del Brocco di Rai Cinema, insieme a Elisa Amoruso, Marco Pontecorvo e Roberto Andò, e ancora un altro importante convegno c'era stato nel mezzo, e adesso sono felicissimo di dare subito la parola a due persone che diciamo fanno parte della storia di Capri Hollywood, perché lei, bellissima, straordinaria voce, ma soprattutto ambasciatrice della pace nel mondo, così è stata battezzata dal mio mito Papa Carlo Wojtyla. Noa, presidentessa di Capri Hollywood, ben trovata, welcome back Noa.
Ciao Pascal, ciao Antonella, ciao, che bello vederti.
Live from Israel. E adesso il primo regista che fu accolto a Capri per la prima proiezione importante, la premiere di questo film, inaugurò Capri Hollywood, e lui si chiama Carlo Carlei e venne a Capri insieme all'attore Matthew Modine. È caduta la linea, probabilmente ritorna, e allora è un'altra ospite davvero molto ben apprezzata, che adoriamo, Greta Scacchi, un po' italiana, anche un po' inglese, ma noi la consideriamo sempre italiana,
Italiana.
Per noi Greta Scacchi è patrimonio nazionale. Ciao Greta.
Ciao Pascal.
E poi un premio Oscar dalla Danimarca, Bille August.
Hello everybody.
Hi.
Come va? How are you, Billy?
I'm good. I miss you a lot. I wish I was in Capri right now, but what the hell? What can you do?
How is the situation, the COVID situation in Denmark?
Oh, our prime minister was just on television telling us for the next 2 weeks Denmark will be closed down. So it's bad here as well as everywhere. So we just have to be patient about it.
Yes, you have a beautiful family, so you travel a lot. So this time you gotta be at home and be a good father.
You have to be a very good father staying home. But actually, I managed to make a film this year, so it was pretty good. But now the vaccine has come, so everything will be much better. We hope so.
I don't understand. Did you shoot a movie already in 2020?
Yeah, we did a movie this summer. We were able to do a movie this summer, so I've been in the editing room all day. So, and the premiere will be in April this spring. So.
What is the name of the movie?
The movie it's a Danish film actually. It's called The Pact. It's a great story, so something I want to do for a long time. So we are almost finishing the film, and as I said, premiere in April.
Maybe movie goes to Cannes. You have been in Cannes. You won the Palme d'Or in the past, no?
I did twice actually, so let's see. We don't know yet. Either Berlin or Cannes. It's up to the producer to decide which festival. But I also hope we can show it maybe in Ischia or in Capri.
Of course, I would suggest you to go to Cannes, because in Italy we say show the hand. Se no, scusami, io dico fai vedere. Vorrei che fosse visto. In Italy we say there is no two without three.
Okay.
So as you won twice the Palme d'Or, it matches very well.
Yeah, I'll do my best. I'll go to Cannes.
I think that Terry is dreaming to have you back, as you are part of the history of Cannes Film Festival. So I was talking before
Yeah.
about this guy, Italian director from Calabria, who actually was one of the kids that was raised by Dino De Laurentiis. He did an amazing movie as his first big movie, La Corsa dell'Innocente, and then he has been working a lot since this debut, and Dino was really raising him as a writer, and I am very happy to introduce you this guy who actually probably you met before, but for us was a very important guy because he was the first director to come to Capri Hollywood with an American actor, Matthew Modine. His name is Carlo Carlei, and the name of the movie was Fluke. Ciao Carlo.
Hello, ciao, ciao. Nice to meet you.
So do you want to tell us the story when you first came to Capri Hollywood? We make this panel in English in order to please all our guests.
Okay, okay. I it was a total surprise. I had this you know so-called family movie, which wasn't really a family movie. It was a very strange story of a guy who dies and comes back as a dog to learn all the mistakes from all the mistakes he made as a man. And MGM was a little bit on the verge of bankruptcy at that time, so they didn't have a lot of money to promote the movie. But Pascal came to the rescue, and he offered a very good spotlight in the first edition of this Capri Hollywood Festival, and I went there together with Matthew Modine, who was the star of the movie, and it was a blast. We had a lot of fun, but also I think that it really helped, to make the movie more recognized, not only in Italy but in Europe as well. And the movie has been an evergreen. It's screened. I mean, it plays on TV every Christmas season, and in the very beginning, I mean, the movie is 25 years old now. It made record numbers, rating numbers on television, and did very well on home video. So I think festivals, they can function as a second opportunities for movies that don't have a lot of luck theatrically, and Capri Hollywood, has evolved and has become a very important window, to present movies, both studio movies and independent movies, and to give them a second opportunity. So I praise Pascal for being so persistent over the years, and I think both Capri Hollywood and Hollywood Capri, or whatever it's called now.
Angeles Italia.
Okay, they did an incredible service to Italian cinema, and I think that many directors can't thank you enough, because they, being, especially going to Hollywood, and they develop relationships with producers, agents, and actors got their moment of glory there, and were signed by agents. So I think that it, both festivals have been incredibly successful and precious, useful for Italian cinema. So I can't thank you enough for all the opportunities that open up, for me, being a guest of your festivals.
Actually, we sneaked out from the control of the Italian distributor of the movie, and I personally asked to Mr. Frank Mancuso, who actually was at that time in 1995 the MGM president, world president, and the legendary producer, Fred Mancuso, is used to go every summer to Capri, as many big global players goes in the Naples Bay to spend their holidays during the summer. And actually, considering we were looking for something who really could represent the philosophy of this festival, bridging Europe and America, bridging Italy and Hollywood, I thought that Carlo Carlei movies Fluke, starred by Matthew Modine, was the good one to really start the festival. And so I personally I never met Mr. Fred Mancuso. I personally wrote him, and I wrote him a letter, and he answered me back and says, Mr. Mancuso, would you, I know you love Capri, would you give me the Carlo Carlei movie, because it would be a great start for the festival. And he wrote me immediately back, yes, of course, for Capri, everything I make. So the movie was assigned. I get a phone call, very upset by a gentleman who actually became one of my best friends, then Richard Berg, who actually that time was representing MGM with the UIP. And he said to me, why did you ask to Los Angeles directly a movie? You were supposed to ask us, because we are not here just to get bill paid. We are here to represent them. So it was not fair you were asking directly to Mr. Fred Mancuso a movie. I say, listen, Mr. Fred Mancuso is almost Capri citizen, so we thought that it was a good idea to ask him, as he's the super president of MGM, to get Carlo Carlei movie screen. So the movie was screened. Italy welcomed the movie very well, and so we guaranteed Carlo a more visibility in Italy, a more theater to be screen the movie, and we are very proud that we can tell after 25 years this story, which I mean is a part of the story that my beautiful friend Noah has been supporting since. When was the first year you came to Capri, Noah?
Oh my God, I think it's almost 10 years now. Almost. Yeah. It's amazing.
So this is the 9th year or the 10th year?
I'm not sure. You're better at remembering numbers.
Okay.
But yeah, many years now already, Pascal, and every year it's a more beautiful experience.
No, it's beautiful to have you there. However, I never saw you so much made up. Where did you go to make a movie? Where did you go? You remind me a little bit of Frida Kahlo in this hair with
Thank
lips.
Makeup.
You should have seen me today. I was okay. I will explain. Just like the wonderful Danish director we heard before, I also took advantage of 2020 COVID to create something new, and I recorded a new album. This new album is dedicated to my love for jazz, and it's all jazz standards, really beautiful songs with Gildor and myself, with a really, I think, fantastic arrangements and feeling. The album will be released in late February, beginning of March, on the Naive label in France. Today we did a video shooting day from 4 a.m. until just an hour ago, and very much in film noir kind of feeling, all black and white, very cabaret style, very cool. That's why the makeup is quite outstanding, because it had to pass the black and white thing with a hat and, you know, with my whole with a chair in a club. Very, very nice setting. And that's what we did today. So that's why I look this way, Pascal. I would get up in the morning and put this kind of makeup on. But I thought I'd take advantage of it to also come on your show and say hello to you and tell you again how much I love you, how much I love Capri. What a great honor it is for me to be Presidentessa of your fantastic festival.
Now, Presidentessa, you have to know that in Napoli, as Carlo Carlei and Greta Scacchi can confirm, we are very traditional, we are very superstitious. So this means that tomorrow you have to be back on the show, and you have to also involve Gildor, and you have to perform on it, because every December 30, our rules to be the Presidentessa is that you perform in Capri, as everybody knows already. Bill has been a few times, Greta has been just one time. So tomorrow, all the Capri Hollywood fans are expecting you to give us a little New Year's gift. So tomorrow, you better do it. Sorry?
Because it's a bit of an issue. But anyway, we'll talk about that later on. But of course, you know, you have my heart, that's for sure. And then later on, we'll see about the rest of me.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward. So Greta, you've been once only in Capri. However, I feel you had a good time, and you have a great memory when we screened Til Schweiger movie. You were in Capri with Nick Nolte and Till,
Yeah.
and it was really a blast for us.
Well, it was wonderful for me. You gave me a golden mermaid, which is the only award that I actually have on display. Well, my mother has in her dining room, because it was such a fond memory. You know, you go to festivals, there's often tensions or it's busy. What I remember about Capri was that it was so relaxed. It was so nice to meet in a kind of canteen almost and eat lots of fresh mozzarella and lots of good food in very good company. And it's the only time I've been to Capri so far off season that, I mean, I know you probably get a lot of Caprese returning to Capri for Christmas, but no tourists really. And it was wonderful. I thought the climate was wonderful too. Whenever I've been in summer, I never felt like walking all the way to that Tiberius monument. I walked everywhere and saw the most spectacular views and took photographs through Pini Marittimi of the Amalfi Coast all the way down there to Positano, I guess. Most beautiful, stunning images. And that was all such fun, much more like a holiday than most of the festivals you go to, and very warm and very delicious. And I feel really chuffed to be a part of its history now.
So, Billy, you have been in Capri a few times, and really seems that we created a family. I mean, it's becoming a club, as Mimo Scalopresti often says to me. He said, Pascal, your better job was to create the same feeling that you can find in Cannes, where you have a club of directors, of talents that gathers together, and they really spread it out the voice all over the world and become every year bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is our concept. And so every single year you got to meet new friends.
Yeah, that's what I love so much about the Capri Festival, is that because of the size of the festival and because of the intimacy of the festival, you really get a chance to meet people and talk to people, to meet producers and actors, and for me also to meet directors, because normally directors never meet actors, meet actors, and producers meet producers, but directors never meet. But in Capri, because of the size of the festival, you actually get a chance to sit down and talk and about all the things going on in your business, and you find out we are all in the It's all the same. We had the same kind of problem, and that's very, very nice. So for me, Capri really, I really, really miss it this year. It's such a beautiful festival.
So, Carlo, how does it feel to see where our job is gone? I mean, 25 years ago you arrived. We barely exist. I remember a week before we started the festival, I received a phone call by a dear friend of mine, Luca di Montezemolo, who actually was saying, "Listen, there is a woman you met that has promised you to be the sponsor, and she retired. So Avvocato Agnelli called me up because he's a dear friend of this lady, and said, please convince this guy Pascal to cancel the festival because she cannot sponsor it anymore." So I said, Luca di Montezemolo actually was the man who teach me how to become a manager. He gave me a big job in the Soccer World Cup Italia 90, and he teach me marketing. So it's somebody I really owe a lot, and I could never say no. But I said, listen, Luca, there is no way I'm going to cancel Capri Hollywood. I'm sorry for your friend. Oh, no problem for her money. Just keep her money. I will risk my personal money. Actually, I did some debts the first year to make it happen. And of course, it was not as gigantic as it was supposed to be. But I was lucky enough next year to get a big sponsor. And after a first suffering year, the second year we had an amazing turnout of talents, starting from Gerard Depardieu, Harvey Keitel, F. Murray Abram, John Lone, who was the star of Last Emperor, Bernardo Bertolucci, Willeke van Hammerroy from Holland, who actually was the leading star of Antonia's Line, an Oscar-winning movie from Dutch, and then of course Franco Nero, Lina Vermeulen, and Gillo Podecorvo, who always have been together with me. So and of course the maestro Luciano Pavarotti, who actually arrived in Capri, welcome as a pop star, as a soccer star, which in Italy is bigger than everybody, a soccer star. So now 25 years later, you sold the history. What is your feeling about this piece of century that we've been building up from Capri to the States?
Well, first, let me say how happy and humbled I am to share this program or panel with Bille August and Greta Scacchi, who, I mean, when I saw Pelle the Conqueror the first time, I tried to buy it I was working for a distribution company to pay my bills. So when I was just out of film school, and I was completely in love with that movie. It had a very, sense of epic, and I tried to buy it, and so I've been following, of course, his career and love these movies, and of course, Greta Scacchi for me was like, wow, an amazing actress that she was always very, very. She always made very intelligent choices in terms of which roles she picked, and so I'm honored,
Thank you.
and I just want to say that, and the other thing is that I don't know how you do it, Pascal. I mean, there is a say in English, about somebody like you. Is a guy who can sell ice cubes to the Eskimos. You convince everybody, and you have this power to make people believe in your passion and your dream, and you made it come true. I don't know. I mean, you know better than me that nobody is loved by the whole world. Everybody, we have friends, we have people who don't like us, and in your case, I think many people came around because in
Oh, sorry, I want to. Can you hear me?
25 years with that.
Carlo, sorry. No, I want to interrupt you because
And
no, Carlo, can you hear
strong
me?
will. Yes.
No, I want
Can
to
you hear
just
me?
say a little things about what you are saying. I'm not selling ice to the Eskimos because Capri it's not ice. Capri it's gold. So means that I'm sending diamond gems to the very great tester people because Capri is something that it sells itself. So it's
Absolutely.
my if I have achieved something is just because of the support I get by the rocks of Capri, not even from the Capri people, but I was confident that Capri itself, the island, could be my best partner in building up something that could work all over the world. I mean,
Yes.
I was not like outrageous enough. I never bet even a sottomuro, you know. I never bet on la schedina because I don't like to lose. My bet on Capri was a winning bet, very easy, because Capri
Well,
is loved all over the world.
that was a way for me to say, and in a very good way, that you can convince anybody to, be part of your dream, and that's not that you are somebody who sells something fake. I mean, in over 25 years, as I was explaining, many people came around in terms of how they were seeing you and your adventure, etc. You've seen so many people that were a little bit snobby at the very beginning that you know that would have done anything to have their work showcased either in Capri or in Capri Hollywood or Hollywood
Angeles Italia.
Capri. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting because I remember the first name, the first incarnation, the name of the first incarnation. So, what do I think? I think that, in my opinion, because aside from this black hole, that sooner or later we finish and we will emerge with new energy and new strength and with the will of start to work again. I think that there are big changes in the way our stories are brought to the audience. There are big changes, uh, somehow dramatic, but who would have imagined that Technicolor Deluxe, those incredible labs where were processing film, they were, superpowers 15 years ago. They would completely disappear, and people, would be left without a job. The our world is evolving so quickly, and it's true there are new ventures, there are new ways to uh, bring our work, our stories to the audience. Some of these we may not like it, but people like my daughter don't really care because they don't have this sense of this religious sense of respect for the movie theater as a cathedral where we all share like a ceremony, which is watching a movie together. I think you go to the movies now, you feel a little bit uneasy with people crunching on no, not popcorn anymore, but they even eat nachos and sausages and everything. So you all that smell and people with the cell phone in front of you disturbing you. So at the end of the day, I think that sooner or later, um, you know, the content will catch up with the new technologies, with the hardware. In a few years, there will be big TV screens, 100 inches, that you will have in your house, and you will have your own experience. And if you want to go to the movies, maybe the movie theaters, maybe they will be still open. You will pay a very hefty price to see Avatar 3 or Star Wars 15. I don't know, or maybe there will be some small independent theater that will feature independent movies. I don't know. What is important is that we're given the opportunity to tell our stories, and festival like the Capri Festival, are there, and we be there to showcase our the product of our hard working, and so I think that sooner or later you have to open up a little bit, not only to films, but to what is becoming a kind of a hybrid between film and TV movie or series, etc. And to be honest with you, I don't demonize television. I don't demonize streaming. But there is a lot of bad stuff. But think about Scorsese. He wouldn't have made The Irishman if he weren't for Netflix. So we have to be open-minded about this process. And the festivals, they have to be the mirror of this incredible change that we are experiencing, which is shocking, but something good will come out of it. As like in every revolution, there is always something that at the end, it's like planting a seed. I think that the there is an opportunity to tell stories in a different way, with a different running time, with a different depth, with a different possibility of exploring each character. So I hope that Capri Hollywood will reflect this in the future.
Just to give you some information, I would like to tell you that in the first 3 days of digital screenings on the internet website mymovies.it, Capri Hollywood selection has had almost 75,000 viewers, which is a number incredible. And in addition, my dear Presidentessa Noah and my dear friend Greta Scacchi and Bille August, Capri Hollywood selected a few movies, more than 100, by the website filmfreeway.com, and we selected almost like 100 movies, and these 1,600 movies that we received in order to be selected came from 90 countries. Now, would you ever believe, Noah, that Capri Hollywood is popular in 90 countries?
Wow.
It's amazing.
Congratulations.
No, it's gone. What happened? So, Billy, what do you think?
I think it's great. Just to pick up the what we talked about again before about the cinemas and Netflix and all that. I think one service help the other one. I think the fact that you now have all these streaming services is very good for the cinemas also. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I think we had an interesting situation in Denmark. All of a sudden, because of the COVID-19, all the cinemas had to close down, and so that instead of that, people could watch all the streaming service as an alternative. But when the movie theaters opened again, people were rushing to the movie theaters because they were so hungry to see the film on a big screen, and they missed this whole social situation. I think should not forget the social element of going to a movie theater. I think it's very important.
Greta, what's your opinion about it?
I agree. I was very pleased to hear you say that in Denmark people were rushing back to the cinema. I became an actress because I fell in love with the theater, and it's not just that it's a live experience for the actors on the stage. The fact that it's a communal experience with an audience, I think, it is important. I mean, I'm having to train myself to concentrate and watch things at home. It's but then maybe it's because I'm old-fashioned. The younger generations won't have any trouble with it. But I tend to feel much more engaged by something when it is an event that's starting at a certain time and is in a large room with a lot of people, a communal experience.
I understand. So, Carlo, tell me something. What is your feeling about this future opportunities for Capri Hollywood and all the event like us? Because obviously next year we're going to be again physical, but of course we cannot forget that we have had such success on internet. So will be maybe two Capri Hollywood, one physical and one on internet.
But this experience tells you that there is a possibility of listen. Everybody would love to go to a festival. Okay, many cinephiles, many film buffs around the world, and only a few can get to Capri Hollywood for several reasons. First of all, the timing of the year, and Capri is a small island, so you cannot have the same audience, the same visitors of Cannes. So I think it's a way to grow as a festival to offer at the same time the physical edition and to reach out to an audience, a much wider audience, in Europe or even worldwide, offering a I don't know if a selection of the festival or a live experience, through streaming, through the net. So I think that what happened this year is very interesting. It's a very good lesson to learn, and the allure of the physical edition shouldn't make us forget that the internet offers the opportunity to expand the audience of a festival, and to arrive to people that for whom would be physically impossible to attend. So I'm seeing this as a very positive thing.
So Billy,
Yeah.
well, so it's a very
Yeah, I think,
yeah. So
sorry.
go. Oh, keep going.
No, I just say that I also, of course, it's possible to have this kind of discussion or meeting on the internet. But the fact being in the same place, in the same room, and have because what Capri also offers is this kind of panel discussions, and where you're together all day. You have panel discussion, you see films together, and you have dinner together. You go to the cafe together, and that kind of situation is so special, and it's not something you can create on a screen, and that's what's so unique about the Capri Festival, because of the size of the festival, and that because it feels like one big family where everybody's together, and you really meet people that you never normally would meet, and I think that's the beauty of it. And you've got time to discuss it, and it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
So Greta, what were you saying?
What I say?
I was just then.
Oh, there is also another guest, guys. There is also another guest. Sorry, it's arriving. The maestro Terry Gilliam.
Hello, how are we?
The magician.
Hello?
Oh, no, it's Rip Van Winkle, a man who's been sleeping for years. Finally has woken up.
Oh, you have a great light. Who made you the cinematography?
The lighting here.
Vittorio Storaro did the photography.
Oh, this is special. This is beautiful now.
Yeah, you look amazing as usual, Terry.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Hello.
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 Ciao, Terry.
Hey, they're all here. Everybody's here. Fantastic. Oh,
So Greta, keep going.
Oh, what do I, what, oh,
No, we were
what
talking
were we
about
saying?
all the numbers,
Terry,
the
you
record numbers.
interrupted my chain of thought. You interrupted my train of thought,
Okay,
Terry.
so a
So
recap for
Sorry.
Terry. I was saying, Terry, that Capri Hollywood this year in digital solution, we in 3 days already collected 75,000 viewers for the movies that we are screening on the platform mymovies.it. And then we have also record numbers of these panels following us on social media, on internet, on the website of the festival, on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube. So we have big numbers. Now the future, of course, will be both physical festival where you're gonna enjoy the typical Capri meal and movies, and a digital festival where a lot of people from all over the world can enjoy your thoughts and your speeches and your movies, because it's we had applying for being part of the selection of Capri 1,600 people from 90 countries. Can you believe that Capri Hollywood became so popular, Terry?
Well, it's been very popular with me for years, so I'm glad other people agree with me. Very nice.
I don't know. You're too far. I
It's
didn't
been
hear.
wonderful. I've met more interesting people at Capri than all my days and nights in Hollywood. That's all I can say. I'm very happy to be part of Capri.
You know, when I first started Capri, the Minister of Culture in France, Jacques Lang, was my friend, told me, Pascal, you are wrong to name it Capri Hollywood because you match the classy of Capri with the grocery of Hollywood. You should just name it Capri Film Festival. I think it was smarter to have both names together.
It's very smart because Capri is wonderful and Hollywood is very easily seduced by Italy, and people just they come to Capri possibly first to just be in Capri, but once they've been to the festival, they realize the real reason for being Capri is to be part of the festival, which has always been a joy and wonderful.
So, Terry, you come to Capri since many years. I'm so lucky you love the festival, and of course you love our board members as you are. And what for you made the difference between Capri Festival, small, intimate, and other events that similar, but considering we are celebrating the 25th anniversary of Capri, it's something that it's really impressive, and I can't not thank you enough. You brought two of my favorite people since we started the festival. You introduced me and brought to Capri actually Goran Bregovic, who was making the music for your movie, and you also introduced me a fantastic kid who became a major movie star, Andrew Garfield, when you were shooting your movie Parnassus. So what do you think was the real smartest thing in organizing this festival in Capri? What makes the difference?
I mean, what is great is it's small. It's not like Cannes or Venice, where there's thousands of people and so much noise. Capri, it's possible to actually get to spend time with the other filmmakers, with the actors, the writers, everybody. And that's far more interesting than having to talk to journalists all day long and run from the mob. That's all I can say. It gives us time to escape our normal frenzied life and come to something much more familial, and it's always felt like that. So it's nice to be part of the family.
So Greta, what is your best souvenir that you have since you came to Capri with Nick Nolte and Til Schweiger? What did impress you most of your staying across New Year's with all your friends and meeting new people?
I don't know. I mean, I love the
one
island. I think
before,
it's
because
oh,
what
Greta, it's your
what do you?
question. That's your question, Greta. I thought he was
Was
talking
it?
to
Did
me.
I get it
Oh, be
wrong?
quiet.
Ah,
See, it's just like in the
yeah, but
family. People don't know when to
I
shut up.
I think Pascal is being very nice because I've already answered this question, but before you came along, so he's asking me it again so that
Yes.
you can hear it. But you were there when I was there last time, so the
Ah,
best thing was seeing Terry again and having sumptuous lunches. And as you say, it's small, but it's in the most beautiful place in the world. I mean, it's not for nothing that apparently it's the most expensive real estate in Europe. It is the place that it's a dream location for all those Americans as well. So I think, Pascal, you were very, very clever to call it Capri, Hollywood, and get Hollywood to come, because of course they'll come to a festival called Capri. And it's so enjoyable for all those reasons that we've said. What else can we say about the festival? I told you I
Well,
got
that it
a
takes place in the
golden
winter.
mermaid. I got the Sirena d'Oro. I love it.
No, d'argento, show you.
The only award I have on the table.
You remember Greta? You remember?
It's the silver
Yeah.
mermaid. But Terry, somebody else also contested me the fact I was having the event during the winter. They say, why do you want to make a festival in Capri during the winter? You want to do it in the summer. I said, no way.
No.
no, the winter is great. First of all, you've got no competition, so it's the only good festival on the planet at that time of year. Also, we get to watch Napoli explode on New Year's Eve. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
It reminded me of the bombing of Baghdad under the Iraqi War. It was spectacular to see that so many people in Napoli could have such a wonderful, dangerous time and survive to talk about it in the next year.
I remember you recently invited, and I cannot be thank enough, the leading star of your movie Don Quixote,
You mean
Jonathan Price, one of my favorite actors.
Well, I agree with you. He's one of my favorite actors, and he's a joy to work with. And he was spectacular as Quixote. Now, Jonathan is one of those special actors who is a great serious actor, but he's even better as a comedian. So he mixes the two things beautifully, and he can sing rather well also. So he's a man of many talents.
So somebody, Carlo Carlei, says that our mermaid, the award that Antonella is ending, is a good luck charm. I don't believe in luck, I just believe in hard work. However, I remember on the second year, 1996, we honored an amazing unknown actor who happened to make a movie called Shine. This guy is from Australia. He's one of the most talented actors in the world. So his name is Jeffrey Rush. So he attended the screening with the director Scott Hicks and the other actor Noah Taylor. And obviously the screening of Shine was spectacular in the Capri Theater. At the end of the show, he was coming back to the theater to wave the people, the spectators, and he was welcomed while he was walking by people clapping the hands. And I remember he was saying, "Oh my God, I never been receiving a walking ovation. This is my first walking ovation." And this is one of the episodes that very, for me, it's very special. So what do you remember? I mean, what is your thought? What do you remember with more in a funny way, Terry, of your attendances to Capri? I remember, for example, the first year or the second year, you came with all the family, your supermodel son, and then it was like a young kid, and then your beautiful daughters. Emmy became a producer. I lost the other one.
Oh, and Maggie has always loved going there. I think to me, two of the great moments for me was to meet and spend time with Max von Sydow and Lina Wertmuller. These are two people I've admired for so long because they were brilliant beyond my belief. So that is what I remember most, is meeting people like that. I would never get a chance to meet them in normal life or even in Hollywood. So Capri is where we gather, where all the wonderful, talented people really gather.
Max von Sydow, I remember also Christopher Lee, another legend, but we have raised so many young stars. I mentioned before your guy Andrew Garfield, but before then we had, as I said, Geoffrey Rush, Noah Taylor. Then we had the young Gerard Butler, totally unknown all over the world. He first came in 2003, and he really, I mean, nobody literally knew even in UK. Then he made The Phantom of the Opera with another great Capri friend, Joyce Schumacher, and he became popular. And then I remember very well when Michael Fassbender came first with Mélanie Laurent, Denise Ménochet, and producer Lawrence Bender when they were shooting with Quentin Tarantino in Berlin, Inglourious Basterds. Now you have to know, maybe you remember that the issue Tarantino is one big mistake I did in Capri Hollywood, because Tarantino told me, Pascal, I'm coming because I want to be honored by Terry Gilliam. I say, oh my God, it's coming true. So I said, are you sure, Lawrence? Pascal, Quentin say me that he wants come to Capri Hollywood because as Terry is the chairman for this year, Terry Gilliam is my hero, Quentin Tarantino said. So I was really not smart enough. I announced Quentin Tarantino to be honored by Terry Gilliam. The news all over the world. Quentin canceled the next day, said, listen, I love you so much, but I realized that if I come there, it will be such a big deal. I am still shooting the end of Inglourious Basterds, and I cannot risk that I mess up the end of the movie because I mean it's too important. And actually, I was lucky enough. The next months later, he came to Los Angeles, Italia, our American festival, to get the awards. But really, to have a Quentin honored by Terry Gilliam is something that I'm missing. Maybe one day will happen. Who knows?
Now, I first met Quentin at Sundance at the Institute when he was unknown before he had made a movie. And I was there with Volker Schlondorf and Stanley Donen as the advisors to the upcoming filmmakers. And he had this script, which I read. Volker and Stanley read it as well. I was utterly blown away by the script. I thought it was brilliant writing, outrageously good. Stanley didn't understand it. Volker didn't really like it. And the advisors who had been there the week before we arrived had hated Quentin. And I guess I was the only person that liked his script. And I encouraged him to go on and make it. And that was Reservoir Dogs. So he's always been very thankful for me being the one person in his life who encouraged him.
Okay, Pascal, excuse me.
Yes,
Pascal, can I interject for a moment, Pascal?
Yes.
I don't want to leave without saying goodbye. They're calling me back in the mixing room. I'm sorry, I'm working. I thought it was going to be like 20 minutes, but you know, I'm so happy that you invited me. I can say only one thing to Terry Gilliam. Anything I know about making movies comes from Brazil. They criticize me sometimes because I use the wide lenses. And I say, well, you know, that's not my fault. It's Terry Gilliam's fault. Go talk to him. Okay, good night. Thank you so much.
Ciao,
Bye-bye.
Carlo. Thank you for joining us. Billy,
Yes.
let me ask you, what do you remember with the most pleasure of your experiences with your family in Capri, Hollywood?
For me personally, it maybe has been Terry Gilliam. So, but also, you know,
Oh, come
it's
on, Billy.
interesting. It's true, but it's interesting, you know, as a director, sometimes you feel alone, you feel lost, and you feel you lose directions. And when you and there's so many festivals. I've been to so many festivals, and most festivals are quite superficial. But coming to Hollywood, coming to Capri, is a festival where you actually get a chance to talk to other directors and you talk to them, to have a discussion, and then just have time to think about it. Then you meet the next day or meet for dinner, and you can continue that discussion. And I think it's extremely helpful in a world where there are so many seductions and many. It's easy to get lost, but it's a place for me also to find back to your roots and talk to people who actually are in the exactly same situation as you are, and that's what I appreciate so much about the size of the Capri.
I see. So, Terry, we have been discussing a lot where is going to go cinema after this pandemic. Now, Warner Brothers just announced the big deal with HBO. Your colleague, I think he's another big fan of yours, Christopher Nolan, is very upset that they are selling his movies that are needs big rooms to be appreciated will be sold right away to television. What's your feeling? I mean, is the end of cinema, or maybe it's just a moment?
No, cinema will always go on as long as there's big rooms where you can gather with hundreds of people to watch things on a giant screen. I mean, I had no interest in Netflix until the plague, until the COVID took over. Maggie and my wife sit and watch it every night, and it's a very, very different experience. And I find, even though there's a lot of good work, none of it really stays with me. It doesn't enter beyond the surface. It's a way of spending a lot of time very slowly watching nice people work hard, but so far it's not made any impact on me in the way that cinema has always impacted. The scale is wrong. Television and Netflix to me is domestic, and what going to the cinema is not it's not domestic. It's exciting. You're going out into a public space with other people, all agreeing to participate in this ritual of watching a story being told on a gigantic screen. And we are the small things. The story, the actors, the screen is the big thing. And so much of the modern world now is turned upside down, where people are watching films on their iPhone. They are gigantic. The film, the story, the storyteller is minuscule. It's not the way to go forward. I think cinema will always be with us. I don't know. I really don't know what the studios are doing. I think it's very difficult at the moment. The studios have in many ways, with their smaller arms, like say like 20th Century Fox, everyone had one that pretended to be like an independent producer making smaller films. They wiped out so many of the independent distributors now. It's harder and harder to find good distributors who can actually get your film into a proper cinema and lure enough people in. It's a very funny time. I think, luckily, I'm old enough to not get a chance to make movies anymore. So I'm finished, basically.
No, are you kidding? Are you kidding? Are you finished?
I don't want to be finished, but the reality is it's harder and harder for those of us who really are trying to make our very individual kinds of films to get them made and released properly. That is the reality. So we fight on. That's all I can say. I'm not very good at predicting the future. I never have been. So I don't really I don't even think my opinions count at all. It's just all most of us do is just try to get the next film off the ground. That's all it's about. There's no great magic going on. I mean, it's just how do you get the money? And then once you've made the film, how do you get it to be seen by the kind of people you want to see it? It's never ending. And Netflix serves a certain function. I do like the fact it's providing a lot of work for actors, writers, directors, technicians. That's great, but it's not cinema, and um, that's I don't know. I really don't have much to offer or predict, to be quite honest.
But do you have a story to produce now?
Nope.
Ah, so
I've been watching Netflix too long. I've run out of ideas.
So, considering the apocalyptic scenery we have been living in the past year, even thinking about Los Angeles is totally cracked down. I read yesterday the LA Times was describing the health situation like crazy. I mean, no place for extreme urgency. More or less, it seems that it's there. The health assistance in America is suffering a lot for COVID. So I think it should be really an apocalyptic movie, as Terry Gilliam could just ever imagine. Did it come out any idea in this situation?
No, my problem is I made the movie about this long ago in the last century, 12 Monkeys. 12 Monkeys has actually come true. And I have to thank the pestilence, the plague, for giving it a new life. It's been on all the streaming services. It's I don't know. I think I'm not interested in making apocalyptic movies anymore. Once you've reached so close to the apocalypse, I keep thinking the main the plague, the pesta, is actually throwing our attention slightly wrong, because the real problem we have is not how many of us are on the planet. In fact, that is the real problem. And climate change is still our biggest problem. And people, understandably, are focused on the COVID at the moment. But I don't want people to lose focus on the climate situation we're dealing with now, which in the long term is far more deadly than COVID.
So, are you interested in making a small intimate movie like Bille August style? And maybe Billy now wants to make apocalyptic movie.
I think I want to
I'm
make
not sure.
nice, really enjoyable movies like Billy does, and not miserable movies like I make.
Greta, what are you wishing more, to work in an apocalyptic movie directed by Bille August, or a small intimate movie like Terry Gilliam is wishing to make?
Uh, I I would like to work either in a Bille August kind of film or a Terry Gilliam kind of film. What can I say?
You take it very serious.
Always politics.
How can you take serious things while me and Terry Gilliam are around? You cannot take a serious question. So, Terry, so yesterday I spoke with Michael Radford, actually living in a big forest. Where do you live? You live in a forest too?
No, I live in North London, which is it's 2 minutes away from Hampstead Heath, which is the largest sort of open area in London. It's very beautiful. So I've got lots of fresh air near me. What I would like to be doing is being in my house in Umbria at the moment, but I can't get there because we're locked down. We are imprisoned in this country that has left Europe and is sending it. We are sailing out into the Atlantic to sink forever. We are the new Atlantis, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. You are not our friends anymore. I wonder how the Italian lady Greta Scacchi is handling being now a foreign citizen in UK. I mean, I'm just joking, but literally, we are very shocked of this Brexit. Still, we cannot believe even. We realized that now they get an agreement for the custom issues, but I mean, this is something that is a regression for the humanity. Instead of including, we are separating. I mean, you cannot believe, Terry.
No, I,
Go, Greta, go.
allora, hello, non ci sono.
Yes.
No, non ci sono.
No, I can hear you.
Yeah, I haven't got anything clever to say. I'm appalled. I mean, I remember there were those years when I couldn't go to Italy and talk to my friends that they weren't angry about Berlusconi, and nobody could understand why, if everybody hated Berlusconi, how come he was voted in? And it's the same with Brexit, just as it is with Trump. You know, everybody thinks that it's a disaster, but apparently in the democracy, it has taken the majority of people to choose something that is unthinkable, that is a disaster in the eyes of anybody that I know. So, what can I say? What I did as un'italiana residente all'estero, cioè I was a European citizen living in Britain, and I have been based in Britain, in England, all my life, since I was 4 years old, since we came from Italy with my English mother. And I used to really like living in London. Of all the places I lived in the world, I loved London. But I'm talking about London until a year ago, because there's nothing attractive about London when you can't go out, when you can't go to the theatre, the cinema, when you don't meet people, when you're not going, if you can't walk out of your house, then you don't want to be in it. London loses all its charms completely. And in fact, I'm like Michael Radford, I'm living in the woods at the moment. In fact, the reason why it's so dark here is that the only place that I have internet is up in a garage where I'm all wrapped up, and I have a little fire that I've been throwing little bits of wood on, but it's freezing here. And I want to get back to my little hut in the woods that is warm. Yes, so that was okay. So that's London and the coat. But what I have to say about the Brexit thing is I couldn't believe that it was going to happen, that we were actually really going in that direction. But I realized quite early on in the first year that they were discussing, after this referendum, this disastrous referendum, I researched and discovered that it was likely that European citizens would not have a right to live in England unless they had been here for the previous 3 years. So, of course, that would mean that as a foreign citizen, if you left the country for more than 3 years, which I might want to do, I wouldn't have the right to come back. So I did the opposite of what many of my friends wanted to do. Many of my English friends wanted any reason, any chance that they had to get a European passport. A grandmother who was Polish or something, anything, they would try and find a way of getting a passport of a non-British European country. And I had the opposite problem. I actually, for the first time in my life, had to consider, well, it wasn't the first time in my life. When I was 20, I considered getting a British passport, but I wasn't eligible for one back then because we had a female prime minister who had decided that all women born abroad of a foreign father could not be entitled to British citizenship. So the laws had changed since Margaret Thatcher, and I found that I could get a British passport, which I did, so that I would have the freedom to come and go, and more importantly, that my children, who have both been away from England, they were brought up here, but they've both been away for over 3 years, that they would still have the choice to come back and live here and work here and visit their mum if they want to for a long period of time or whatever. The only way they would be allowed to do that would be if I got British citizenship, which I did, which was kind of an odd thing to do when we were all so disenchanted with this country for making such a regressive, stupid, destructive choice. And now we have the horror of the repercussions that we can't even imagine yet on top of this this very difficult year.
So that's beautiful story. So we have another guest joining us, supposed to be here, Armand Assante. Where are you, Armand? I can see your ear. But you have a beautiful ear, but I need to see your eyes. I prefer your eyes. Okay, great. But you should turn now the phone like this. No, you should turn the telephone horizontal, please.
No, please. I missed. What is this conversation about?
About Capri Hollywood. But,
I'm very intrigued by what this woman just said. What is this about?
No, this was about the Brexit, and
Armand,
the woman is Greta Scacchi.
Armand, I need to talk to you, Armand. After
Please.
all these years, you don't remember that I was your Penelope. I can't believe it.
Oh my God! Is that?
Hello.
Where
I
are
was
you?
Penelope. Where have you
all
been,
over the place.
Armand? You've been away for so many years, traveling around. You forget.
Oh my God!
Your wife. She's been waiting and waiting. I've been knitting. I've been making tapestries.
In the Odyssey of Andrei Konchalovsky, you have Penelope.
I got it. But
why are we only seeing your
earring?
ear?
Why don't you wear your earphone, Armand? It would be better you wear earphone and you can listen what we're talking about, and you can also.
You can put it on speaker. Armand, put it on speaker. Just press the speaker button.
I don't do these calls. I did one with Pascal. It was a disaster.
Okay, so have you got a speaker?
Let me see.
Got a speaker?
On speak. Okay. Here we go. I'm getting it. Somehow the phone is not.
Somebody is taping this. This is a shortcut about how a man coming from outside New York handle technology. Because you say that you live in wood, but Armand lives also in beautiful wood. I've been on his ranch. It's amazing, far away in the middle of nowhere, and it's really another type of life. So far away from all these stupid phones who actually are leading our life. Terry, what is your feeling about the global society? You have been speaking before. You are being shooting 12 monkeys, who actually was apocalyptic like this situation. But going back to the reality, you are a normal citizen that wakes up in the morning, open the news, and see all the change. They announced in 2008 China will be the biggest financial country in the world. Revolution. What is your feeling about where are we gonna go?
I've become so uninterested in politics. I really am uninterested in it. I don't care where it goes. I'm more interested in whether we can actually keep this planet habitable for us and all the animals, the plants, everything that are here on this lush planet. We are really lucky. And that's why I don't care whether China is the most powerful nation or America is the most powerful nation. It depends who is willing to do whatever is necessary that the human race and all the other species that currently habitate this planet can continue to live. I mean, everything is about short-term gain at the moment. Very little in long-term thinking, except for little girls like Greta Thunberg and well, a lot of adults. We may be able to save this place, but I don't see the political class getting together to do their part of it. A lot of individuals are doing things. There are a lot of interesting companies doing things, but politically, it's not very good. Luckily, Biden is now president of America, so he will rejoin the Paris Climate Accord, and that's a good step. Other than that, I don't know. I'm really tired of politicians and political things. So I'm getting I've become so opposite to what I was most of my life. I was always political, always wanted to make things about politics, about the state of the nation. But I'm almost ready to ignore politics and just think of what kind of bombs can one make that might shake things up a little bit. It's bombs I'm still interested in. They don't have to explode and blow up buildings and people, but they do have to have they must change things in some way. And that's my problem. I don't know what to do these days. Interesting enough, with COVID and the lockdown, I thought this would be a perfect time for writing, to creating new things, because you don't have to make the film. You can just now start planning a film, writing it. And yet what has happened is I have completely run out of energy and ideas to make a film at the moment. I found it's very odd. I don't even draw properly anymore. I find my concern for the state of the future is so much that it's stopping me functioning as a creative person. I don't know. Maybe this is what it feels like to be a coral in the coral reef, where the salinity of the oceans are changing and the coral reefs are dying. I think I'm identifying as a coral at the moment.
Bill, how do you identify?
With a coral, coral reef.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Billy. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. So, I'm of course interested in politics and following what's going on in the world. But I think my job as a director is to tell story about human beings. And because politicians can say something about facts and statistics, but what I think as a filmmaker you can do, you can tell something about relationships, about human beings. What I know about the daily life of human beings in Italy, for instance, I know from all the wonderful and beautiful Italian films I have seen. So I think that's where my focus is to trying to focus on the heart of human beings and learn something from the diversity of human beings, and in that way create an understanding for where we are.
Armand.
Yeah.
So please put your phone somewhere in a proper way and make a statement about Capri Hollywood.
But I can't pick up a speaker on this. It's not allowing me.
But I can hear you very well. So just please mention when you first arrived to Capri Hollywood and what do you remember? I remember you also interviewing Gillo Pontecorvo in order to make a video about Capri Hollywood. In your experience, 2001, that was the year of Faye Dunaway with you, of Giancarlo Giannini, F. Murray Abraham. are young. It was a magic year as well.
Well, Pascal, I've said, you've brought together, you've always brought together amazing talent, and I think what you've accomplished in terms of a statement for Italy, unheralded, because in fact you have made, I think, truly gifted people in Hollywood very much aware of your festival, and I think you've garnered a tremendous amount of energy from Hollywood, and I think they take it very seriously. I mean, I alone have met some extraordinary forces in our industry at your festival. It's funny that you mentioned that you recall Gillo Pontecorvo in that interview I did with him, maybe one of the last interviews that was done while he was alive. But there's an example of a filmmaker who, in his lifetime, is really known for 3 films, all of which were incredibly politically relevant. And you could glean from that interview what an incredibly moral, humble, and shy human being this was. Not someone who was about to flaunt his political and moral stance upon the world, but he did it through art. And if any of you remember that film, Battle of Algiers, it's a movie, and yet you think you're in the middle of a documentary. It's a revolutionary film for its time. But Pascal, I can only tell you that I just from my own observations of having been to that festival now several times, it's impacted my life because of the caliber of the individuals that you bring together. I'm sorry that I jumped into this conversation so late. So, I mean, what I'm saying is completely irrelevant.
No, it's
I don't know what the hell. But
absolutely.
if anybody wants to jump in, and save me, please do so by all means.
Now, Armand, actually,
Again, I gotta
we are talking about Capri Hollywood. We are not talking about politics. Then it came up. As we were talking about general situation, so it came up to talk about the Brexit. But of course, the main reason we are here is for celebrating the 25th anniversary of Capri Hollywood, and you've been a very important part since you first arrived. I remember you arrived for the first time in 1998, because we met in America, and we became friends, and I invited you. And the first year you came across New Year's Eve, and actually on that year was the first time that I was making something happen in Capri on New Year's Eve, because the first 3 editions of Capri Hollywood was in the period of the Thanksgiving, because the concept was to launch Thanksgiving. Now, no, I was forgetting that you were for the first time in Capri on 1997, when Anthony Minghella saw you and Fiorello singing at Anime Core Tuo Fa l'Americano in front of Maestro Renato Carosone, and then Anthony Minghella casted Fiorello to play in Talent and Mr. Ripley, and then I remember you wanted Fiorello to join your movie, but Fiorello is very shy. He's just a television man, and he says, I really love Armand, but I am not done for movies. I mean, I've been just doing this part for Anthony Minghella because he asked me to sing Tuo Fa l'Americano. That's it. This is my story with cinema. So you have a lot of good souvenir of Capri. Now, what is the the moment you remember with the much love, with the much funniest way. I mean, it has been a while since you've been to Capri.
Who?
It has been a long
It's a
time
difficult
that you.
transmission.
It has been a long time
What
you've
was the
been.
question?
What you remember with the most happy feeling about Capri Hollywood, beside the Gillo?
Well, I'll be honest, Pascal. I don't know. I don't know. You could have been a casting director because there's a synergy that you bring together among people. And if there's one thing I remember that stands out in my mind still to this day, even the last time I went to Ischia, you bring together an incredible synergy among people, and that's your own talent. I mean, you have the ability to bring together people that of all walks of life somehow chemically find each other, and I found that to be unforgettable. I mean, it really made an indelible impressions in my heart. Does that make sense? Well,
So,
I guess that's a wrap, huh?
Greta,
Dimmi.
cosa ricordi? What do you remember shooting Odyssey with Armand and Andrei Konchalowski?
Oh, it was a wonderful shoot for me, but it was Armand, can you hear me? I wonder whether he can
I
hear
can
me.
see you now.
Ah, I wasn't on it. I wasn't on it very much, but I had a wonderful time. We were on this beautiful beach in Turkey on in a German resort, and I had lots of time off with the most beautiful women in the world who were all older than me. It was great. I was going through a bit of a, oh no, this hasn't got to do with Armand. No. So, no, but I did spend a lot of time on the beach with Isabella Rossellini, Geraldine Chaplin, and Irene Papas. And that was just a wonderful, wonderful time. We were in such a beautiful place, weren't we? But Armand and the boys did a lot of work. They had to do lots and lots. A typical thing, really. They went to wars. We just stayed at home at the resort and had fun.
That's
Do you
true.
remember that?
I remember it vividly. I so many really, really powerful memories of that. Very powerful time in my life too.
Yeah. Yeah. You were very, very
Funny.
disciplined. I remember how you were so into your fitness and your preparation. It was remarkable, actually. I was very
Yeah,
impressed.
yeah. One of those
Very
formidable
disciplined.
challenges in one's life. Funny.
Yeah.
Armanda, I remember you first arriving to Capri, thinking about your Neapolitan heritage, thinking your grandfather coming from Porto di Napoli. It was a blast
Porto
for
di
you.
Napoli. Yeah, was very, very powerful because I had been to Italy many times, but especially I think being an American, and I come from a very, I think a fairly gifted family from Naples. But I was especially kind of obligated in a sense to invite them to be part of that experience because I felt, in a way, I was very proud. I think they were proud of me, but the fact that I, as an American, a New Yorker, had come back to Italy in my own birthright, if you would say. The family that my family was born into was born there on the port of Naples. So it was very powerful, and I've since been back many times. But I think you may even remember they came over. It was a very, very unique experience in my lifetime. Very powerful.
So Terry, after Capri Hollywood, you wanted to make a festival in Ibiza. Why it didn't happen?
Me?
I
Are we
remember
talking
they
to
invited
me?
you to chair the festival in Ibiza. You told me.
I was briefly involved in it. I don't know if it still exists. It was a festival that had a war at the center of it. There were two opposing factions. There was the local person who was involved, and there was an English lady who was involved. And they were battling each other, it seems, and the whole thing kind of died out. Maggie and I went there for a couple years, and it was very enjoyable, but the the rivalry between the two eventually, I think, destroyed the festival. And I don't know if it exists anymore.
But then they created a festival for you close to your house in Umbria.
Well, that's the one that I'm the president of, and it's my first step to becoming an Italian citizen because it takes place in a small town called Montone, which is very beautiful, and they made me an honorary citizen of the town. So I'm already partially Italian. So I may have to get an Italian uh, passport so I can travel more freely in Europe once we've completely left it. I don't know. But the Umbria Film Festival is now into its 15th year. We're not as old as you are on your festival, but it's much smaller. It's like it is a bit like Paradiso because it takes place in a beautiful little square in the town, and kids are running around. The bars are open. Life is going on. The world does not stop for cinema in Montone, is what I can say. It's a
So,
good festival. You must come one day.
and Billy, is there any other
Yeah.
festival you're very close to beside Capri, Ischia, and Cannes? There is any other small event that you really care?
Now, I have been in a lot of festivals and also been to what you call a president of a lot of festivals in China and in America and so on. But still, my favorites are Ischia and Capri. And again, it has to do with the size of course, Cannes means a lot to me because I won there twice. But still, Capri is something special. And I really misses the Capri this year.
Great. So, Armand, don't move. I want to say, I want to make free, I want to give freedom to Terry, Billy, and Greta before making them free, because I feel that I'm keeping them prisoner. I want them to wish, I would like to know what they wish for the 2021, and I want them to wish Happy New Year to our viewers. So, Terry, you start, please.
So for 2021, whatever I wish, it'll invariably be better than 2020. So, but I do hope for a much better year. I hope we get the La Peste under control. I hope cinema comes back the way it hopefully will, and I'm sure it will. So all of that I look forward to next year. And so for me, it's buon anno, auguri per Ischia, per
Capri.
where are we from? For Capri. Oh, see, yes, it always comes back. My brain is slowly being absorbed by this Zoom call. I really hate Zoom calls. But I wish you best of luck and happy birthday for the 25th anniversary. And next year, hopefully, we will all be back together in the
Yes.
flesh. We can touch each other. We can reach out and touch.
Bravo.
The magician. Thank you so much, Terry. Billy.
Bye. Thank you. Ciao.
Bye.
I also want to say happy birthday to all of you, and really also hope that we can meet next year in Capri. And I also wish that we can learn from everything we have experienced this year and have a much better 2021. So happy birthday.
Thank you so much, Billy. Greta.
Yes, I agree with everything. I'm sure that things can only get better, and I feel also that through these horrors of our politicians that make you wonder whether democracy is actually still alive and well, is it still working? I think that these recent disasters, Trump and well, our government in England isn't much better, and the COVID. I'd like to be optimistic and think that the climate crisis is coming into focus in a way that it hasn't before. I've always been very much a supporter of environmental causes. Since my late teens in the late 70s, and there's never been a time that people are talking about it and focusing on it as much as now. So I think it's time for a lot of changes, in perhaps our democratic system to make it more democratic and to get the people's voice out there. And I like to think that things are going to get better. So I'm optimistic about 2021. I think that we've realized how important it is to get together, have conversations, socialize, which is something that the Capri Festival does so well, as everybody has been saying. It's such a pleasure. Festivals aren't necessarily pleasurable, but Capri really is a wonderful opportunity in a beautiful surroundings with great hospitality, great food, great company. And I think it's fantastic that you are 25. That's a silver jubilee, isn't it? I think that's a silver jubilee. So very happy silver jubilee to Capri, and let's hope that we will all be socializing and being able to go to the cinema and meet and do things like come to Capri.
Grazie mille, Greta Scacchi. In your honor, and
Grazie.
also before talking with Armand again, I want to show the trailer of The Odyssey directed by Andrei Konchalovsky. So you might remember Penelope, Armand. Bye.
Armand Assante, Greta Scacchi, Geraldine Chaplin, Bernadette Peters, Eric Roberts, Isabella Rossellini, and Vanessa Williams.
Your destiny is to become immortal, to have your name on the lips of endless generations.
The Odyssey.
Ulisse, where are you? Ulisse! Penelope, you were looking amazing and you are amazing still now. Ulisse, where
Thank
are you?
There he is. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao Greta. Armando.
Ciao, ciao.
Armand, allora, thank you so much, Armand, for joining us. Where is Armand? Can you show me Armand?
I'm right here. I'm still here.
Yes. Why don't you put your phone horizontal instead of having direct?
Oh, there it was on. Hey, it works.
It works.
Great. So, okay, beautiful. Finally, we see you.
Right.
Okay, on all your beauty, Ulisse. So, Armand, thank you so much for the nice word you said about the festival. I still remember when you first arrived in 1997 with Fiorello, with Dante Ferretti and Francesca Lo Schiavo, with Maestro Renato Carosone, with Franco and Sergio Citti. It was with Marlene Gorris, Oscar winning for Antonia's Lions. That was a blast. What do you remember?
Pascal, I said you bring together very synergistic minds from all over, and your festival, at the very least, is a cultural revelation.
Show me
So
your
you have
face,
only to
Armand,
thank
while you talk.
yourself.
Okay.
It's remarkable.
So I also remember a very, very important moment when you met again Antonio Banderas in Ischia. After a long time, we made the Mambo Kings reunion.
It was so sweet. That's only 2 summers ago.
2 summers ago, yes.
2 summers ago.
And now that Antonio is back on the top of the world, now we need you to be back on the top of the world. You need to do it because of your Napolitan grandfather. He wants
Pascal,
you to get an Oscar after the Emmys.
In reference to what you said earlier, I have to believe that this time that we're going through is actually going to bring about immense, very positive change. I think in many ways it's brought the world together in a way it's never been together before, because we're meeting on a very common ground, in that we're all incredibly vulnerable and incredibly fragile. And this existence is very, very quick. As you know, I always say, la mia vita è il passo troppo veloce. But my point is that I believe that 2021 can be an exceedingly positive year for all of us, because we have learned so much about each other, about tolerance, about acceptance, about barriers that we had built up over the years that we literally got ripped down before our eyes. So I have to believe it's going to be a phenomenal time ahead of us. I want to believe that. And I have to believe that, and I have to hold to that belief. With that in mind, listen to me. Grazie mille, felice anno nuovo, buon compleanno, felice anno nuovo. Grazie a tutti.
Armand Assante, grazie mille a Bille August, Still There, grazie a Greta Scacchi, a Terry Gilliam, a Carlo Carlei e soprattutto grazie ad Antonella Salvucci. Arrivederci a domani, ancora domani, un programma ricchissimo di eventi, ma soprattutto un programma di film straordinario che potete vedere su mymovies.it. Davvero siamo molto felici che in questi giorni più che mai il cinema italiano, il cinema internazionale abbia una visibilità assoluta grazie a Capri Hollywood, la 25esima edizione. Arrivederci a tutti.